welcome to Beyond the Game Fan and Athlete Interactions. My name is Ileana, and I'm joined here today by my amazing co hosts, Jill, Ty, and Shelton. So, how is everyone doing today?
Good. Hey, Liana. So excited for today's episode. It's such a relevant topic in today's world.
Yeah, same here. Being athletes, this is something we experience firsthand.
Absolutely. I can't wait to dive into the information and see what we have to talk about today.
Awesome. So, today we're going to be talking about how fan and athlete interactions have evolved over time. So, especially with the rise of social media going on in today's world, we are going to be discussing both the positives and the challenges that come along with these interactions. And later, we are going to be joined by a very special guest, Clemson Baseball's own Lucas Mahlstedt. And he's going to be giving us an inside look into what it's like engaging with fans as a student athlete. So let's get started. So to start off, we are going to talk about how athlete interactions have evolved over time. Jill, what were some things that looked like before social media really took over?
So historically, fan interactions were mainly through letters, autograph signings, and in-person events. Athletes had more of a level of separation from their fans. As of today, they really don't with social media. But Ty, as an athlete, how would you say that's changed?
Yeah, it's completely different now. Social media gives fans like direct access to us and athletes, like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Not really me as much, but like I can say my teammates, some teammates like have a big following on TikTok or Instagram, so a lot of fans can interact with them that way. For me, like an example, like last week I had a kid text me and ask me like how the recruitment process was to Clemson and what I did specifically. Shelton, have you noticed the impact in your own experience?
For sure, I think the connection between the fans and the athletes are like immediate. It could be a good or bad thing. For me, I get messages like you said from fans all the time, whether it's encouragement or it's criticism. I had a kid DM me for gloves one time. It was so quick. So I think it's for sure a good connection between both.
Awesome. So that will bring us to our next point, how social media shapes these interactions. Jill, can you share a little bit about the research that you've had on this?
Studies show that social media increases fan engagement, but also creates added pressure on athletes. These are instances where online hate can seriously affect mental health. Ty, have you or any of your teammates experienced that?
I mean, yeah, we definitely have like through the course of the season, like you're going to have negative and positive comments. It just kind of flows whether how the team is doing or like a certain individual is doing. And really, yeah, like the coaching staff just tries to point us towards like ignoring the positive and negative comments so you can't like ride that wave of like emotional like distress.
I agree with you. I think the positive interaction it definitely helps throughout the process. So if you have a bad loss, the fans kind of reach out, give you encouraging messages that you think you didn't really need, but when you saw it, it kind of gave you the spirit to keep going.
Awesome. So that does bring me to another question I have. Ty and Shelton, what would you say are some of the challenges that come along with this rise in social media on both your athletic career or how that can go into your academic career?
Definitely kind of uh like managing both being trying to reach out to fans and trying to be like more active on social media, but also like not letting it take away from like what you're doing on the field and how you're preparing for like a game or trying to get ready for practice. So basically not letting it interfere with like what you're doing on the field.
Most definitely, I kind of agree with you. Once you find that medium spot, that sweet spot, just know how to balance both. I think it would be cool for you because, like you said, you can interact with friends who thought they'd never talk to you one day, and then on the other hand, you can't let it affect the outcome of your play on the field. So I think that was a good point.
Yeah, awesome. Would you guys say that having social media now makes it a lot easier to talk to fans and then aspire to younger audiences?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think
Like you can put some stuff out there and like really encourage the younger generation. Like some stuff they wouldn't be able to see if like social media wasn't a thing, like what you do on a daily routine, that might inspire somebody to start doing that and just things like that.
Yeah, I think like just creating that fan base that can see your everyday movement, and like you said, they can try to mock what you did and just feel like they get into the next level, kind of help them in the mind space or to where they want to go. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, do you guys have any challenges that you face with using social media? Does that ever have issues that come along with it having a large fan base?
I mean, not me in particular, but I mean, just make it like I said, just making sure you have a balance in between like looking at social media and like looking at the things that are said, but like really not paying attention to any of it and just making sure you're there what you need to do. And like what you're there to do is play baseball.
All right.
Awesome.
Liana, as a fan and not an athlete, how would you say that social media is kind of an impact to athletes from a fan standpoint?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a lot easier, especially looking at athletes and possibly looking up to them. I was in competitive sports for 12 years of my life. So being able to access having conversations with athletes is definitely inspiring. And it was for me at such a young age that it helped me to want to continue to pursue a career in sports potentially at such a young age. And I think it's definitely one of the biggest bonuses now for younger people when they're getting into sports, being able to reach out to those people and have someone to truly look up to, and the potential to meet them is very inspiring to a lot of people.
Yeah. Ty or Shelton, have you ever had a fan interaction, either positive or negative, either in person or online, that's really like stood out to you and stuck with you?
I say for me, I think it was a kid when we go down Tiger Walk that I always seen, and then they kind of like reached out to me on Instagram, and I kind of took that relationship with stride and kind of just tried to meet up with the little girl outside of Tiger Walk and just spend time with her because I thought that was valuable of them being in the same spot trying to see me at a game. So I most definitely had a positive one.
Not really specific, but all the kids after the game just wanting your signature, wanting to talk to you, no matter how the game went. They just want to see you and talk to you. Like they don't really care about anything else except just meeting you.
Yeah. Ileana, do you think that social media has made athletes more relatable to fans, or has it created like an unrealistic expectation for how they should engage?
I think it definitely can go both ways. I think in one way, it's a very positive thing as people can see someone they look up to and see what they do on a day-to-day basis, which it can be very inspiring. I think sometimes though it can just seem a little unrealistic because obviously these people are living very different lives. So it's something a lot of people will look up to, but might not always be exactly in the cards. So I think it can definitely go both ways and depending on how you look at it. But overall, I think it's definitely something that's a positive on that side of the spectrum. So, Ty or Shelton, when y'all were younger, growing up and in sports, were there any people that you looked up to on social media? And did having social media at this time help you to connect with them?
I would have to say probably Bryce Harper. He was always one of my favorites growing up. Um, he didn't get into social media until late, but even then, like seeing him on ESPN or Sports Center or anywhere else, it was really cool, especially as a young kid that really loved baseball, just watching your favorite athlete on TV or on, social media.
Awesome.
I say Jalen Ramsey, just him expressing his personality throughout the game and off the field, and just having that outlet where they have YouTube and they document their life and just showing how they act outside your life. It kind of make me want to be a good person. And also on the field, he just showed his aggressiveness. So I kind of tried to apply it to my game because we're in the same position. So I most definitely looked up to him through that social media aspect.
Yeah, awesome. And then looking still at social media, it's been shown that athletes are able to create more of a brand for themselves using social media. What is both of y'all's experience with that or someone you know?
Yeah, really putting yourself out there. Like one of my teammates, Aiden Knock, has a really big brand when it comes to like Instagram and TikTok, and you know, showing like his day to day stuff and what he does, like his water bag work or like his pitching grips. It really attracts brands to like want to send him stuff and like show off the stuff that they send him and just want to be a part of them.
Yeah.
I say like Kate Clubman on my team. He kind of get to go out and he threw a camp. And all he did was posted it on social media, and the fans showed up. It was a free camp, so I kind of think that helped him expose his way and his personality in a good way to the community. And also, he got beats for the team. I think that's a good way of him just marketing himself being a starting quarterback, and he was able to pull off a deal that he can give back to his team in the right way by using his platform. So, yeah.
Awesome. And could one of you guys maybe explain a little bit what NIL is as it's getting so prominent on social media? And then maybe one of you guys explain the benefits or the challenges with NIL stuff?
I say NIL is just you using yourself as a marketing tool to get brands or just any kind of thing, food spots, just anything that you can put your name on and let it expose you in a good way. Of course, I think it comes with ethic and morals and what you want to do because all deals are not good deals. So I just kind of say it's a thing that you could market yourself. If you got a brand or a logo, you can put that out there more just to let people attract to you more and to you as an athlete. So that's what I think NIL is all about.
I'm
Awesome.
sorry, what was the second part of that question?
If you think there are more positives or challenges along with those NIL deals.
Definitely positives. Like Sheldon said, you can really like express yourself. Like NILs is supposed to be like about you, so being able to express your like hobbies and what you like and what you do. Like if you like a certain food brand, like you can try and partner with that food brand.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I guess kind of going off of that, I'm sure your coaches kind of have input to this, but how do they view like social media and what advice do they give you guys on managing your presence online?
I think that our coaches just kind of tell us watch what you post, but use it as your crutch. Use it, like I said, to engage with fans or put yourself out there as a brand, so you can put money in your pockets. But it's a threshold to where, like we said before, you don't want to be on there so much that you're getting overwhelmed and forgetting to handle your stuff on the field. So I say our coaches just say watch what you post and try to use it to your advantage. Don't let that be a downfall of come out be a huge mistake in your life by using too much social media. So
Yeah, our coach definitely sees it as like a stepping stone of like you connecting with other people and also fans in a larger way and being able to create a brand for yourself and being like Sheldon said, being able to put money in your pockets and just being able to show people who you truly are and not just the person you are on the field.
Yeah, definitely. And then I guess when you have a brand, you probably get a bigger following. Anyone on your team that has like a big following, how do they manage their fan interactions and what lessons do you think can be learned from their approach?
ooh, big following on my team. Um, I would have said Barrett Carter when he was here. Uh, I think he kind of managed it well by just knowing what's authentic and not letting all the bad and negative stuff get in the way of clogging his mind up to do his job. It's a sport that I play football that mistakes gonna come sometimes, and it's just how you have the mindset and et cetera to thrive through that and don't let that get in your head. So I think our media team help us manage it very well, what to say, what not to say, and just putting us in front of certain crowds, knowing when we want to interview or not. So I just say Barry Carter had a huge following. He managed it very well, I thought.
I would have to say Aiden Knock being a freshman last year, coming in and doing what he did, becoming freshman pitcher of the year. It comes with a lot of media attention. It's being able to like kind of shed it off and kind of just focus on what needs to be done and but also being able to use like his platform to reach out and be able to influence younger kids and also have fan interactions.
Yeah, definitely. And then to end out these questions, what advice do you guys have to young athletes that are going to be facing engaging with fans and just how can they handle all the pressure?
Just stay true to yourself and I always like kind of remind myself remember your why. Social media is not one of your whys or why you started playing this game, so you don't have nothing to prove. Just continue to be yourself, believe in what you believe in, and just remain humble. So don't let the social media kind of give you the big head.
Yeah, exactly what Sheldon said. Just be who you truly are and show people who you truly are and show them why they believe in you as a player, but also you want them to believe in you as a person too.
Awesome. Well, these were all great points, and there are definitely lots of pros and cons to fan engagement. So now we are going to transition over into our guest interview segment so we can get an even deeper perspective. We are thrilled today to welcome Lucas Mahlstedt from the Clemson baseball team to the show. Lucas, thank you so much for taking the time and joining with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's dive into the topic that we kind of want to hit on today. We had a question that we thought and that I think fans would want to get a question on. How do you manage interactions with fans, both in person and online?
Um, I think with kind of the way social media is going, it's a lot more, it's a lot easier to interact with fans, online through Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff, with comments, DMs, all that stuff. And then I also think that in the direction, at least where our team is headed and where college sports is heading, where it's just so much easier to access fans and just gain insights into what different players are doing, through TV, all that stuff. But specifically in games, having different interactions, turning games into more so carnivals and more so experience for the fans. So.
Gotcha. So I know you've created SubU and a lot of other
Mhm.
people that
Yep.
follow you. How has creating SubU helped you interact with fans and help other athletes connect with you and also help them excel their career?
Yeah, I think creating it, starting off slow, but just getting all the all this stuff from through SubU. I didn't know there was that many people interested, in submarine pitching out there. And now I feel like I've built up a following, simply by just putting out different videos and whatnot, and just reaching different audiences who are interested in that kind of stuff. Younger high school pitchers, college pitchers, JUCO pitchers, all that stuff. So.
Gotcha. Have you ever had an interaction that really impacted your mindset or performance?
Um, yeah, I think the biggest, interactions that have taken place have been through, when Clemson Life comes and they, practice with us and just seeing their perspective on life and how, they might not be the most privileged with their health, but just being able to come out and, have a smile on their face when they come, practice with us, play with us, whatnot, just really puts a smile on our face as well and makes us appreciate what we have.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Lucas, do you want to give us maybe a brief description of what SubU is and what gave you the idea to create that?
Yeah, so Sub University, it's just a social media account that I made about 6 months ago. Just kind of had the idea. I feel like I have, a unique arm slot in baseball, and I wanted to cater that and kind of just, show it off because I know other people have similar arm slots and just being able to gather like a community of different guys who are able to be different in sports, with their different arm slots and just showing that, even though you might not, you know, be the most traditional athlete, you could still find success in the sport. So I basically just make videos, drills, and all that stuff to help people, also posting like funny stuff as well. So.
Awesome. And then, in your opinion, what is one of the biggest challenges that athletes face when it comes to fan engagement today?
Um, Yeah, I think a lot of people almost get caught up in that kind of stuff as well. As much as it brings joy to the players. Sometimes they think about it almost too much. Some when the stakes are high, whatnot. There's a lot of fans in the stadium. I think that they kind of think about, what their opinions are. Also, in social media, with different comments, especially on like Twitter or X now, all that stuff, you see comments about the team, disrespecting the team, disrespecting yourself, players, all that stuff. So I think that's kind of where it dives down a little bit. So.
How has EB's point of view of like social media kind of projected you and helped you move forward with like sub EU and being active on like Instagram and social media platforms?
Yeah, so I started it kind of before EB started, going into that stuff. And then I was kind of hesitant with it. And then once kind of EB started his own account, started posting, whatever he does on there and just how he kind of got more engaged and kind of just how he wants all of his players to do stuff like that. It just made me want to make content more. And it just um, gave me that extra cushion to be able to do that.
Gotcha.
Well, as a
Um,
group, I think we was talking about how does like managing the fan and player interaction could like hurt or embody your sport. Like, how do you think that you manage the fan and athlete interaction to not let it overwhelm you and just stay locked in on the mission you came to do is play baseball?
Yeah, I think the best way to put it is there's times to be serious, into the game, and there's also times where you can interact with fans, a lot, especially like post game, interacting with fans. I mean, the game's over, all that. It's really nice to be able to do that. But sometimes pregame, if I'm pitching that day or whatnot, if I'm not pitching, then obviously I can be a little more, I guess, interactive with fans. However, if I'm pitching or if it's, getting later in the game and I think I'm going in, then obviously I need to lock in and just be more serious and kind of shut all that white noise out so I can focus on the game.
yeah. Do you think the fan energy in DKS really makes a difference when you come in the game or really in a game just in general?
Yeah, I think it does, and especially if the fans are rooting for you. At DKS, we had a lot of series where we were coming back late in games, and the crowd was just really electric, and then especially with in playoffs, the regional, super regional, all that was really awesome. It really brought the fan energy back into DKS like it was 20 years ago. And it was just really fun to pitch in front of all of them. So,
Yeah. How would you say the postseason was like the postseason fan experience to like a regular Tuesday midweek game was?
yeah, so regular Tuesday midweek, I mean, you don't really get any students out for that. It's mostly just, I guess people who don't have work that day or whatnot, especially the games at like 4 o'clock. It's hard to get kids out of school for that. But then you go to the playoffs, in the summer when, you have the kids there, their families, you have, older Clemson alumni who come back. And then you also have the students, who are just really electric in the outfield. It's just a different atmosphere because you just have so much passion from different kinds of people. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen a lot of like both positive and negative interactions with fans and athletes, but if you could tell fans like one piece of advice about how to positively impact athletes, what would it be?
Um, I think one way to positively impact athletes is kind of almost know like their story, know like what the situation is at the moment. We have tons of kids who ask for balls in the bullpen or whatnot, and it just depends on the game situation. When you can kind of engage with fans or whatnot. If we're up by a couple runs and it's late, we think we're going to win, whatnot. But if we're down or if we're getting clobbered, that might not be the best time to interact, and also just kind of keep your distance, know what the players are going through, know that the main goal is the game and the focus on the game. So
What social media platform do you think is the most effective for engaging with the Clemson baseball community?
I think the biggest platform for the Clemson baseball community is probably Instagram. Just because, or maybe Twitter as well, or X, just because, that's kind of what more of the fan base is on. I'd say if you want to get more interaction from, younger athletes who aren't Clemson fans, but just baseball fans in general, might be more so geared to TikTok as well as Instagram. But from a Clemson community standpoint, probably Instagram or Twitter.
I
Yeah,
noticed that it's a big thing that happened in football. A lot of players let their emotions or their personality overwhelm the professionalism that comes with the sport. So, like, how do you balance showing personality on social media while maintaining the professionalism that you have to keep up with in the sport?
Yeah, I think you just have to have some feel when it comes to that, if your team's kind of having in a rough spot, probably not the best to, post a bunch of funny things or whatnot. Just kind of know your place and know that, what you're posting is going to be online permanently. Just got to be aware of that. And then, um, yeah, just kind of, you can show your personality, but you don't want to show like too much, just because.
yeah. So we have like our team standards. Like, what are those guidelines or rules? Um, like, what do they come to when it comes to posting on like personal accounts? Like, how do they dictate what you can post?
Yeah, the biggest thing is prioritizing the team. I'm not gonna ever post anything that is gonna, bash one of my players, whether that brings me up and then bashes other players. I'm not gonna do that. I mean, I've posted a couple things where I kind of bash myself, and I feel like that's okay. Those tend to be get more views. But yeah, you just got to be respectful of your teammates, respectful of your coaches, and just kind of what the situation is.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and do you think that NIL opportunities have changed the way that athletes approach social media now?
Yeah, definitely. I think NIL is, it's a great thing, especially for athletes. I'm grateful to be kind of in that realm where NIL is currently is. I think if you're kind of driven by NIL as a factor, you probably won't do as well on social media. It more so comes with, a drive within as opposed to kind of just driving to get NIL opportunities, whatnot. But I think it definitely influences, more, you're seeing more content creators from college come online because of NIL. And that's kind of how you got to reach out to get those opportunities anyways. But
I got you. How would you say like interacting with young kids like after a game impacts like you as a player and also you as a person?
yeah, it's awesome, to see younger athletes come, ask for a sign ball or whatever, because, you've been in those shoes before, you've been to college games, you've, you've looked up to, college athletes, you've visualized yourself being in those shoes at one point and actually being in those shoes and kind of looking at, a younger athlete who aspires to be in your shoes one day. It's really special. And it kind of just makes you appreciate what you have and the path that got you there.
Yeah. Who would you say kind of was like someone you looked up to when it came to like posting on social media or creating a brand like WU?
Um, who did I look up to? Um, I mean, I would just say honestly, just any professional athlete. There was one athlete, he was in the Mets organization. I don't know if he still posts content, but he kind of did something similar to me. He was more so catered to himself, but he threw like sidearm, um, just transitioned. I think he got like Tommy John surgery. He kind of like documented his, whole surgery. But I thought it was just really cool to see how well he was doing through social media, with his arm slot and his kind of journey, trying to make it to the big leagues. And I feel like that kind of inspired me and then also inspired me to saying, hey, I know not only want to do it like for myself, but I want to do it for like, the whole kind of community and kind of cater to everybody. So.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we kind of closed out this question earlier with Ty and Shelton, but what advice would you give to young athletes about handling their fan attention and social media pressure?
Yeah, just be cautious of what you're gonna post. You don't want to post anything to bash your teammates, coaches, whatever. But I think it's perfectly fine to, post stuff if you want to bash yourself. But um, the main thing is just kind of posting what you love and making sure that you show your personality in it. Because nobody's gonna want to watch content that's, not genuine or whatever. Just be genuine with it. Something funny happens, that's even better. I think that the funny stuff does way better online than, something that you kind of pre-rehearse. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lucas, for talking to us and sharing your perspective on social media and your experiences. So thank you so much.
thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Okay.
That was just such an insightful conversation. We covered a lot today, from the evolution of fan-athlete interactions to the challenges of social media in today's world.
Yeah, and a big shout out to Lucas, for giving us a firsthand look at what it really is like as a student athlete, especially the situation he's in, creating his own brand like SubU and interacting with fans and helping other athletes.
It's a most definitely a big shout out to Lucas for me. Just him coming in, like you said, giving us that insight as an athlete that's in today's world. If you had a good and enjoyed this today's episode, please be sure to click the link in the bio at Sports News Media Podcast and give us a subscription on YouTube and follow us on Instagram if you can.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Beyond the Game. We'll be back next episode with more great content. So see you next time.